I'm going to do an example of correlation from the homework on the calculator, TI-84. So they give this example. They say construct a scatter plot, find the value of the linear correlation coefficient R, the p-value, determine whether there's sufficient evidence to support a claim of linear correlation. Significance alpha equals 0.05. We're going to do all this stuff on the calculator. So let me switch to the calculator now. I'm going to need these numbers here, so I actually wrote them down so I can enter them into the calculator. So on the calculator, I'm going to enter that first row of numbers into list 1 and that second row of numbers into list 2. If you want to clear out what's ever in your lists, to begin with, I'm going stat clear list, and I'm going to use list 1 and list 2, so I'll clear those out. List 1, comma, second, above the 2 is list 2, enter, done. Okay, so the lists are clear, and now I'm going to enter those data, stat, edit, and list 3 doesn't matter, I'm not going to use it, so I'm going to enter the data for list 1. So be careful, so the first number is 80.4. Whoops, that doesn't look right, I have to go back. 80.4, and then 79.6, 79.6, and then 56.1, and then 68.8, 78.1, 38.4. The numbers for list 2, I'm going to arrow over to list 2, 5.5, 9.3, 3.3, 1.6, 10.5, 0.1, and when you're entering a bunch of numbers, I'm just going to take a look to double check to see that I didn't make a mistake. Okay, looks okay. So now that we've done that, we're going to perform a hypothesis test on this. Stat tests, and it's lin reg t-test, which is all the way down near the bottom. There it is, lin reg t-test. Lin reg t-test. Now I have the X list and the Y list already entered as L1 and L2, which is what you want for this. The frequency is going to be 1. This is the form of the alternate hypothesis. For these questions, the setup is always going to be that the null hypothesis is rho equals 0, which is going to be not from the original claim. Rho equals 0 means that there's no correlation. Rho not equals 0 means that there is correlation. So the setup is rho equals 0, not from original. The alternate is rho is not equal 0, which makes a two-tailed test. You want to save, this is the regression equation, and you want to enter a y1 there. And to get to y1, I'm going to go vars, yvars, function, and then the first thing there is y1. So that put a y1 there. That'll save the regression equation in a y1 variable that we need for graphing. And then when I hit calculate, I get a bunch of junk out of this. So there's the t-value, this t-value here, that's the test statistic that they might ask you for. So I'm going to write that down, 2.52753. This p-value is the usual p-value. I'm going to write that down. I'm not sure what they're going to ask me. They're going to write down everything that might be relevant, 0.064 8, 3, 4, 5. And then the a and the b, see there's the regression equation, y equals a plus bx. The a and the b are the regression equation, so the regression equation is actually y equals minus 8.0538 plus 0.195871x, something like that. We'll see how many decimal places they want, if they even ask that for this question. And then as you arrow down, see this is the R, the correlation coefficient that they're going to ask for. You might want to write that down, 0.78419133732. Okay, so I've got that. You can always get these things back by redoing the calculation. And now it wants the scatter plot is the first thing it asks for, and we can generate the scatter plot on our calculator by going to y equals up there. And notice how you see that y1, that has the regression equation in it. That's y1. And then you want to turn on plot 1, which is going to give you the plot of the points from the data that they gave you. So I'm going to arrow up and see there's plot 1. And if I hit enter, that toggles that on. See how it's dark and flashing? That means it's on. If you want to turn it off, then if you hit enter again and arrow out of there, see now it's off. So you go up there and then the enter is a toggle on or off. So I want to have it on. Okay, so there it is on. And to get a plot of this thing, I'm going to go to zoom. And then number 9 here is zoom stat. Okay, and if I enter for zoom stat, it gives me a plot of everything. So these blue marks here, these are the data points, and that line is the regression line. So the first question in the homework, they want you to say what the scatter plot looks like. So let's see which one of those choices looks like that plot. Let's see which one looked like that plot. I think it was B. Let's double check again. Let me look at the plot one more time. I think it's this one, but let's look again. Yeah, I think it's that one. So let's go for B. Okay, let's hope for the best. Nice work. Now what else do they ask? The linear correlation coefficient R, that's that R value that I wrote down, 3 decimal places, 0.784. 0.784. Good job. The null and alternate hypothesis, as I was suggesting, the null hypothesis for this is rho is equal to 0. And the alternate hypothesis is rho is not equal to 0. Well done. Then the test statistic, that was that t that we wrote down, and it was 2.53 to 2 decimal places, 2.53. Fantastic. The p-value, we wrote that down to 3 decimal places, 0.065 was what we got for that, 0.065. Nice work. And finally, the p-value is greater than 0.05, the significance level. So it's greater than. So according to the hypothesis conclusion chart, so remember, this is H null is where we are not rejecting, fail to reject H null, and H null was not, we failed to reject H null. H null was not from the original claim. and that means H null not from original Faltric. There is not sufficient evidence to support the claim of linear correlation. Let's see which answer corresponds to that. Let's see. There is not sufficient evidence to support the claim of linear correlation. Fantastic.